US President Barack Obama is on a collision course with Republicans again, this time over his plan to reduce the US deficit by $4 trillion over 10 years, a plan which includes increasing taxes on the wealthiest Americans. It's been immediately dismissed by top Republicans who are calling it class warfare. And as Washington correspondent Craig McMurtry reports, the administration is also dealing with the fallout over a new book that paints a negative picture of the West Wing and its leaders' authority.
In the face of declining poll numbers and unease in his party about his re-election prospects, Barack Obama has sought to recapture some of the old campaign intensity. And after being out on the road selling his $450 billion job plan, the president was back in Washington, continuing the switch from compromiser-in-chief to campaigner.
It's a plan that reduces our debt by more than $4 trillion and achieves these savings in a way that is fair.
Sharpening his lines, the president unveiled a deficit reduction plan that cuts spending, counts war savings from Afghanistan and Iraq, but also relies on raising $1.5 trillion in new tax revenue.
The money's going to have to come from someplace.
The White House is invoking what it's dubbed the Buffett rule, after the Omaha billionaire went public saying he should be paying more tax.
Middle-class families shouldn't pay higher taxes than millionaires and billionaires. That's pretty straightforward. It's hard to argue against that.
As a minimum, Barack Obama's calling for millionaires to pay the same percentage of their income in tax as middle-income earners. He's pushing again for Bush-era tax cuts for the wealthy to expire and to close tax loopholes for corporations, putting himself on a collision course with Republicans.
Class warfare, Chris, may make for really good politics, but it makes for rotten economics. We don't need a system that seeks to divide people. We don't need a system that seeks to prey on people's fear, envy, and anxiety.
We've borrowed too much, we've spent too much, we're dramatically over-regulating every aspect of the private sector in our country, and now we're threatening to raise taxes on top of it. That's not going to get the economy moving.
I reject the idea that asking a hedge fund manager to pay the same tax rate as a plumber or a teacher is class warfare.
The Republican speaker says pitting one group of Americans against another isn't leadership. But upping the ante, the president has also vowed to veto any bill from Congress that cuts Medicare without raising taxes on the wealthy.
I will veto any bill that changes benefits for those who rely on Medicare but does not raise serious revenues by asking the wealthiest Americans or biggest corporations to pay their fair share.
At the same time, the Obama White House is also dealing with the fallout of a new, unflattering behind-the-scenes book, Confidence Men, that questions the president's leadership. It quotes former economic advisor Larry Summers telling another aide, "We're home alone. There's no adult in charge. Clinton would never have made these mistakes." Pulitzer Prize-winning author Ron Suskind describes fierce infighting, with one political advisor complaining that the economic team tried to re-litigate the overall policy, even after the president had made a decision, and saying implementation by the Treasury Secretary was slow and uneven.
And the reality we all lived together, bears no relation to the sad little stories I heard reported from that book.
The book also reports women in the West Wing felt shut out, describing it as a hostile workplace. Former senior advisor Christy Romer is quoted saying, "I felt like a piece of meat." She denies saying that. Other aides interviewed are equally dismissive, saying the book is a fiction full of drama, palace intrigue and distortions. Craig McMurtry, Lateline.